whether the child has a deformity, a defect, an issue or not. You don't have to have a reason. You can kill the baby in the womb. It's an abortion. You can just do that. If that's the case, then why can't you kill the newborn, they're saying? And you should be able to, they're arguing. And the fact is, sadly, they're not wrong. Welcome to the National Marriage Campaign podcast. I'm your host, Scott Phelps. There's been a lot of talk recently about something called after-birth abortion. There was a recent presidential debate in which one of the candidates argued that abortion is problematic for a number of reasons and that it may even lead to after-birth abortion. Many people were critical of that comment and said, no, there's no after-birth abortion. There's nothing like that. You're making that up. It's a fantasy. Forget about it. Well, it just so happens that I was cleaning out a box of papers the other day and stumbled across this research report from 2011 right here, and it is titled, After-Birth Abortion, Why Should the Baby Live? Wow. So it got my attention. I started reading it, and it is exactly as the title suggests. Let me begin by, this is 2011, by the way. I'm recording this in 2024. Let me read to you the abstract, and then we'll discuss this briefly. The abstract of the research report is, quote, abortion is largely accepted even for reasons that do not have anything to do with the fetus's health, by showing that, one, both fetus and newborn do not have the same moral status as actual persons, and two, the fact that both are potential persons is morally irrelevant, and three, adoption is not always in the best interest of actual people. The authors argue that what we'll call after-birth abortion, parentheses, killing a newborn, should be permissible in all the cases where abortion is, including cases where the newborn is not disabled. Wow. This is an actual medical, scientific research report arguing for the killing of newborn babies for any reason. And what they're saying is, look, we understand that abortion is legal and permissible, whether the child has a deformity, a defect, an issue or not. You don't have to have a reason. You can kill the baby in the womb. It's an abortion. You can just do that. If that's the case, then why can't you kill the newborn, they're saying? And you should be able to, they're arguing. And the fact is, sadly, they're not wrong. They're making a logical argument. They're simply saying, if you can kill the baby before it's born, why can't you kill the baby after it's born? And you see, this is exactly the problem. They're right. That abortion is the killing of an innocent human life. And it's really no different if you kill that baby while it's in the womb or after it's come out of the womb. It's the same thing, and that's what they're saying. But they're not against it. They're for it. They are for the legalization and legitimization of killing children. Now, I say the word children, you say, hold on, no, wait a minute, they're talking about newborns. Are they? Let's read on. If criteria such as the costs, parentheses, social, psychological, economic, close parentheses, for the potential parents are good enough reasons for having an abortion even when the fetus is healthy, if the moral status of the newborn is the same as that of the infant, and if neither has any moral value by virtue of being a potential person, then the same reasons, here it is, which justify abortion should also justify the killing of the potential person when it is at the stage of a newborn. Two considerations need to be added. And here's where the quote-unquote newborn comes into question, because what does that even mean? At what point, then, is the newborn no longer a newborn? That's a challenge. We do not put forward any claim about the moment at which after-birth abortion would no longer be permissible. And we do not think that, in fact, more than a few days would be necessary for doctors to detect any abnormality in the child. Now, what they're saying is, okay, if there's an abnormality and the baby is still in the womb and you're not sure, you could go ahead and have the baby, and then the doctor can figure out if the baby's healthy and fine, and then you can decide then if you want to keep it or kill it. That should take a few days, but it goes on. In cases where the after-birth abortion were requested for non-medical reasons, we do not suggest any threshold, as it depends on the neurological development of newborns, which is something neurologists and psychologists would be able to attest. Second, we do not claim that after-birth abortions are good alternatives to abortion. Abortions at an early stage are the best option for both the psychological and physical reasons. However, if a disease has not been detected during the pregnancy, if something went wrong during the delivery, or if economical, social, or psychological circumstances change, such as taking care of the offspring becomes an unbearable burden on someone, then people should be given the chance of not being forced to do something they cannot afford. And the key sentence here that I kind of ran through the stop sign on is where it says, in the cases where after-birth abortion were requested for non-medical reasons, we do not suggest any threshold. So what they're saying is, look, if the baby is born and an abnormality is detected, it should take a few days for the doctor to kind of figure that out so you can decide whether or not you want to keep the baby or kill the baby. But then it goes on to say, if it's not for that, if it's not a deformity or something, we don't suggest any threshold or timetable on when you should be able to kill. What? What is that? So what? We don't suggest any threshold? No threshold. So you might kill the infant after a few days, after a few, months? Yeah, I mean, I don't know where they're saying there's no threshold. And you can understand then the argument that was made recently that now makes perfect sense, and that is that abortion naturally, logically, rationally leads to infanticide. If you can kill the baby before it's born, you can kill the baby after it's born. That's not me saying it. That's the smart people in the scientific medical research report on after-birth abortion, as they call it. Now, here at the National Marriage Campaign, we are very much intent on helping young people understand that pregnancy is not a bad thing, babies are not bad things, they should not be aborted, they should not be killed, they should be loved and cherished and nurtured. And one of the reasons for the National Marriage Campaign is because we want to help increase the opportunities and possibilities that when a child is born in America, that child will be born into the loving cradle of a married mother and father. And we think that's the best solution for children who are conceived through pregnancy, is that they have the opportunity to live and survive and to be loved in the context of a family And so that's why we're concerned about this research report on after-birth abortion here at the National Marriage Campaign. Thanks for joining us today.